In the prosperous kingdom of Ayodhya, ruled by the just and revered King Dasharatha, life flowed in harmony. The king had 3 wives, Kaushalya, Sumitra, and his youngest and most cherished, Kaikeyi. Though blessed with 4 sons, Rama, Bharata, Lakshmana, and Shatrugna, Dasharatha's heart was particularly drawn to his eldest, Rama, who embodied every virtue and was loved by all the people. As years passed and the king felt the weight of age, he decided it was time to pass on the mantle of rulership. His clear choice, the people's choice, was Rama. A grand coronation ceremony was announced, filling Ayodhya with festive cheer and anticipation. Kaikeyi too initially shared in the general happiness, proud of Rama, whom she loved as her own son. However, darkness crept in through the ears of Kaikeyi, carried by the words of her old and crooked maidservant, Manthara. Manthara, fiercely loyal to Kaikeyi and consumed by envy and malice towards Rama and his mother Kaushalya, could not bear the thought of Rama becoming king. She approached Kaikeyi, her words dripping with poison, painting a grim picture of Kaikeyi's future once Kaushalya became the queen, mother, and Bharata, a mere subject to Rama. Manthara cunningly reminded Kaikeyi of 2 boons that King Dasharatha had promised her years ago. During a battle, Kaikeyi had saved the king's life, and in gratitude, he had offered her any 2 wishes she desired to be claimed at any time. Manthara urged Kaikeyi to demand these boons now to secure Bharata's future and her own status. Under the relentless and insidious influence of Manthara, Kaikeyi's heart, once filled with affection for Rama, turned cold and ambitious. She retreated to her anger chamber, casting aside her royal ornaments and assuming the guise of a wronged woman. When King Dasharatha came to see her, finding her in such a state of distress, his heart was filled with concern. He implored her to tell him what troubled her, promising to fulfill any wish to alleviate her sorrow. Kaikeyi, seizing the moment, reminded him of his promise of the 2 boons. Bound by his word and deeply in love with her, Dasharatha readily agreed, swearing by his most beloved Rama that he would grant them. With cruel resolve, Kaikeyi revealed her demands. Her first boon was that Bharata, her son, should be immediately crowned king of Ayodhya. The second boon, a thunderbolt to Dasharatha's soul, was that Rama should be banished to the Dandakaranya forest for 14 long years, living the life of an ascetic. Dasharatha was utterly devastated. He pleaded with Kaikeyi, reminding her of Rama's virtues, the people's love for him, and the injustice of her demands. His pleas were met with cold indifference. Kaikeyi remained adamant, holding him to his promise. The king, trapped by his own word and the unbreakable laws of dharma, collapsed in agony. Summoned by Kaikeyi, Rama arrived calm and composed, unaware of the storm that had erupted. Seeing his father's distress and Kaikeyi's stern demeanor, he inquired about the matter. Kaikeyi, without a hint of remorse, informed him of the boons she had asked for and his father's inability to articulate the painful decree. Rama listened attentively, his face showing no sign of anger or despair. Understanding his father's predicament and the sanctity of a king's promise, Rama readily accepted the exile. He declared that he would gladly go to the forest to uphold his father's truth, even if Kaikeyi had merely ordered it. His decision sent shockwaves through the palace, and as the news spread, through the entire city of Ayodhya. His devoted wife, Sita, refused to remain behind, declaring that a wife's place was always beside her husband, in joy or sorrow, in palace or forest. Lakshmana, fiercely loyal to his elder brother, also vowed to accompany Rama, unable to bear separation from him and determined to serve and protect them both during the exile. Despite the king's desperate attempts to dissuade them and the lamentations of the queens and the people, Rama, Sita, and Lakshmana prepared for their departure. They shed their royal garments, donned simple bark clothes, and with matted hair, prepared to leave the city they loved. As they stepped out of the palace, a wave of sorrow engulfed Ayodhya. The citizens, heartbroken at the unjust banishment of their beloved prince, wept openly and followed the chariot carrying Rama, Sita, and Lakshmana, their hopes and happiness shattered. Thus, Rama, Sita, and Lakshmana, embodying duty, devotion, and loyalty, left the gates of Ayodhya, heading towards the dense and unknown forests, marking the beginning of their 14-year exile, a period that would test their resolve and lead to the central conflict of the epic. King Dasharatha, unable to bear the separation from his son, soon succumbed to his grief